All right, welcome everybody back to another card edition of 13 Cards Up to Change. You got me here, Leroy, and let's do this because it's fun. And of course, we have Zach here.
Yes, I'm here. And
hold on. A round of applause for Zach because everybody loves him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got sound effects now for fun. I got that figured out a little bit.
We're getting much closer to you finally being covered up by so much equipment that I don't have to look at you during the show. But
I'm working on it.
Yeah, exactly. But quite the professional setup we got here. It used to just be you and a laptop, but now you got the laptop doing one thing, you got the giant TV monitor here doing another thing. Your kitchen's starting to look more and more like a studio every day.
I do. I got that. I got this. I got my phone right in front of me. Just wait till I actually can get a sound. They actually have a sound board.
Yeah.
I do want to get one of those.
We have
put stuff in there,
folks.
Oh my God.
We probably put a little too much effort into this show. Let's be perfectly honest right now.
But they love us.
It's great. They love us in Canada.
But they're also loving us down in Mexico now.
Oh, great. Oh, good.
We're getting some hits down in Mexico and still up in Canada. So
fantastic. Anyways,
viva la raza.
There we go. Anyway, so obviously today, I think the only place to start, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that we are in a tiny blizzard, and by tiny I mean this is the Midwest. This ain't nothing. This is.
I'm still waiting for a good one so I can use my snowboard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but anyway, no, I honestly think the best place to start right now is the biggest news in wrestling. It's the thing that took over the wrestling world since winter is coming. And no, it's not Sting, but we'll get to him in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the AEW Impact Partnership, which, by the way, has been a dud from the start. Can we just jump right into the fact that this has not been anywhere near and by the way, pun intended, this is nowhere near the impact that I thought it would be, okay?
Yeah, I was.
It's not even close.
I was looking forward to it. Said maybe we'll have something.
You made me watch Impact. That alone should be it. I should get paid for the part of the show because of that. By the way,
we both had to watch. I watched it also.
So by the way, for anyone curious, this is a direct quote. Impact on Access TV with Kenny Omega showing up averaged 221,000 viewers, and it drew a .08 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. All of a sudden, Impact cares about ratings and demographic. This has been the wrestling company that's been on life support for the last 10 plus years, ever since douchebag Dixie Carter took over the company. It's been on life support, and now all of a sudden they give a crap. Oh, by the way, can I point something out? They were the 96th on cable for that Tuesday, and that was actually up from 166,000 views and a .05 demo the week before. So the supposed best wrestler in the world, the champion of champions, Kenny Omega, after this long, remember, gentleman's agreement, handshake agreement of not to use weapons or do anything stupid, this long-awaited championship run of the return of the Cleaner, who, by the way, if he does this freaking bang thing one more time, I'm gonna bang my own brains out.
That was cheesy.
Is it cheesy? It's like, dude, Jim Cornette said it the best. I don't give a damn if it worked in the Tokyo Dome. Dude, this is America. What works in Japan for a Japanese audience, it's cheesy as hell over here, okay? Just anyway.
Yeah, it totally is, yeah.
But anyway, so let's do some math here. Leroy, could you quickly on your phone there? What is 221 minus 166? Don't do the 1,000, just do the basic, because there's just numbers here.
Yeah, it's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, so yeah.
All right, you said again, what is it?
221 minus 166. I can do the math in my head quickly, but let's just get a quick number here.
221 minus 96?
166.
Oh, 166.
Yeah.
55.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The guy who supposedly turned the wrestling world on its head, him and Don Callis,
increased 55,000
to Impact
viewers.
That's it. Impact got 55. So by the way, I just want to point something out. And this ain't Access TV's fault, because Access TV was a very successful network. That's why the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, has all of his money, as he started Access TV, basically.
There we go, yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure it was called something else beforehand, and then it turned into Access TV. But anyway, here's the deal. And I could be wrong. That could not be his channel, but I know that I believe Access something was what he originally started, and that's how he got his money. But anyway. So you're telling me Kenny Omega coming off the most successful Dynamite in a long time, and that was because of Sting. That wasn't because of your ass.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was.
You want to tell me that you only upped 55,000 viewers? Leroy, it's interesting. There was a tweet not too long ago. It might have been Tony Khan, it might have been Taz, it might have been someone else. But one of the wrestlers in Spot Monkey Wrestling, they tweeted out they beat NXT by like 200,000 views. I think it was the Winter is Coming event.
I think that was Tony.
Was that Tony Khan?
I believe that was Tony.
Okay, cool. T-Bar,
Yes.
formerly known as Dominic Dijakovic,
I love you, T-Bar.
just commented at the bottom, 1.74 million. So let's be clear here. The show that every single wrestling fan and podcast that I listen to and talk to, that they say is the biggest dud out of all 4 shows that we can consistently Americanly see.
Yeah.
And sorry, Impact, you ain't in that top 4. You're not.
No, they're not.
You are a distant 5th in this scenario.
Oh, yes.
You're not even coming close to the 4th best show, according to the wrestling fans. Your rating, here's the deal. I almost wish that Tony Khan gets the cojones to be like, let's move to Fridays. Let's move to Mondays. You ain't going to come close. It's not going to happen. I don't care if this is I don't care if our voice somehow gets to Tony Khan and he decides to up us and prove, I'm going to go to Mondays. I'm going to go Fridays. Dude, you don't compete with the 4th most interesting show. Now, I actually kind of like Raw. It's got a different feel to it right now.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously, I think a lot of people think it's the lowest form of wrestling. It's the most boring. Not that I think it's boring, but a lot of people don't look at it as the top show. But here's the deal. You can't even come close to that number. You think I give a damn about you beating NXT or I give a damn about you having 900,000 people when T-Bar literally proved that if you doubled your rating, you're just about 10,000 more than what Raw did for a 3-hour show, and you're a 2-hour show.
And you know what? This is how I feel about that. This is me.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah.
Hysterically.
Yeah. But no, it's just, okay, there was this big partnership. We'll get back in the partnership now.
Okay, yes.
Nothing has come of it. Literally
No.
nothing. I'm not even going to talk about Impact or their pay-per-view because it doesn't mean anything to me other than a 2-minute promo with Carl Anderson where Kenny said, I want to see the old machine gun, and he and Don pretended to shoot a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
It is so beneath the machine gun Carl Anderson to sit in a room with that version of Kenny Omega or that version of Don Callis.
Well, he teased about doing a match against the Impact champion too. Kenny did.
Okay, so here's the deal. Don Callis makes this huge announcement at Winter is Coming, and by the way, we're gonna keep saying that because that was the name of your event, but folks, the Game of Thrones was a crappy last season, and they still did better numbers than you guys did. So I don't know why you're trying to get off that thing. Also, apparently, Winter is Coming was just to come off the fact that Sting is now going to come out to snow.
Yeah, it's so nice.
We go from Surfer Sting to Crow Sting to now he's Frosty the Snowman Sting.
Or he's Northern Minnesota, Wisconsin Sting.
I don't know. It's
something like that.
Frosty the
He's
Sting.
from California. He's not from up here.
Frosty the Stinger? Is that what we're gonna go with now? Frosty the Stinger?
He's Old Man Stinger, like Old Man Winter.
Frosty the Stinger was getting paid too much to be out there. But anyway, that ain't copyright, so we're gonna use that shit.
Oh yes, we are gonna.
Anyway,
use it
so get this straight. You make this big announcement. You better tune in to find out what happens on Tuesday. And all you did was show up in a bus and sit on it and give an interview. By the way, I want to point something out. They didn't even open Impact with that.
They should have.
That was the end of the show.
Yeah, they showed the bus.
That's
what they did at the beginning. They showed the bus.
Here's the deal. You show me this bus. They have shown a limo on Raw, and you find out maybe right there what it is. Sometimes you'll wait 2 hours, but if you wait 2 hours, you either know it's McMahon or it's Rock. You know who it's gonna be.
Well, growing up, yeah, it's like JR when he's on, there's like, oh, there's a limo. Yeah. Well, you hear that right away.
Yeah.
And then you find out.
But here's the deal. We knew who was on the bus.
Yeah.
You wait. Here is the oldest form of bad television formatting on the planet. You got this big thing teased. Instead of waiting 6 days and giving it to the people right there so that everyone tunes in to your first hour. So you open with over 1 million people. You decided we're just going to wait 2 hours. We're going to make you sit through our whole show, which I'm sorry, it's got some decent names on it, but it's still Impact.
Yeah,
It's-
a couple former WWE
yeah,
guys,
no,
you
it's
know,
just
but-
like, guys, you made us wait 2 hours for a 10-minute, 30-second interview where Kenny Omega has not looked any better from that interview than he was doing over in southern Florida there or wherever Jackson was.
I think
It was-
one thing I wish he would do is change his sweeper girls.
Oh God, I just
They need to get better
yeah,
or wear less clothing.
yes,
Maybe because it's too cold out because they
it was
can't
40. It was 40 degrees in Florida, you assholes.
Hey, that's like 30, not even close to 30 below up here. But
No,
40
it-
degrees, we're in shorts.
Exactly.
They're wimps.
But anyway, no, let me explain something to you here. You had to wait 2 hours, 1 hour and 49 minutes and like 27 seconds, because the interview, according to YouTube, was 10 minutes 33 seconds from the moment that Josh walked into the bus and then Don and Kenny walked to the back of the bus. That's what YouTube said the length was.
That's about right.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I remember myself. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. An hour, 49 minutes, and 27 seconds to see Kenny Omega and Don Callis. It wasn't even that good of a heel interview.
No,
It wasn't.
It sucked.
But by the way, can I point something out? I don't know who the hell is in charge of the camera at Impact, but they must have run the last show of Dynamite because the cuts, the freaking editing of the scenes, all these tape things, it is so piss poor. Don Callis does the twisting of the nameplate. By the way, apparently it's never been done, that the nameplates have been done right there. WWE puts the damn thing on the exclusive network. You can watch it for free.
Yeah.
It's on the free version of there. I didn't have to pay for cable to go to Access TV.
They change it all the time. They do the front one, they do
But
the side ones.
anyway,
yeah.
so they take the nameplate off.
Yeah.
Go back and watch this, folks, if you don't get it. Go back and it's on YouTube. Go back and watch the interview. Don flips John Moxley's nameplate off, and then all of a sudden, it's instantaneous. Kenny's is on there. It's an instantaneous. Look, if you wanted to not waste time with Don twisting, have Kenny talk more. Not that that's going to help the interview segment, but
No,
have
it's
Josh
not.
Matthews say more. Like I don't understand who edited that garbage, but you can't tell me that okay. NXT is still under scrutiny for editing when Dexter Lumis jumped over the rope and then landed it flush. They're still talking about how that was probably edited. Fine, I don't care. It was a taped show, whatever. But here's the deal. It's still not as egregious, it's still not as bad, and the editing was not as terrible as whatever the hell this was. I mean, come on, people. I wait an hour, 49 minutes, and 27 seconds to see Kenny Omega come out, to see Don Callis talk the majority of the time.
You waited that long?
No, I didn't.
45 minutes. I was like,
I didn't watch Impact. You kidding me?
I fast forwarded it through YouTube. I feel bad for everybody that actually sat at home live. And
Well, we
watched
have
it.
the Mox Box rule now, so
Yes.
I mean, we give ourselves the right to do so. But anyway, I want to point something out. The editing was awful. Kenny came off as a goof. It wasn't even close to the cleaner Kenny. Because remember, Kenny did this in the Tokyo Dome. He did this at the halls, at all the big arena type things that they did New Japan shows in. Now he's doing it in the back of a bus. Dude, really? Come on. Look, here's the deal. What Kenny did in Japan worked for what I saw in Japan. But it's not working. And again, we'll talk about this here in a little bit about AEW, the actual show they ran. But I did watch that. I did watch that. Anyway.
I did. I didn't eat that much.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling
No,
great, and
no.
it wasn't because of watching the show. I was kind of like,
Yeah.
But I stomached through watching both shows.
Anyway.
I did enjoy some of the matches.
Yeah,
with
no,
Impact.
it
They
was
were
okay.
pretty good.
But no, here's the deal. Because we'll touch on this in a little bit. Kenny came off not heelish. He came off stupid.
Yeah.
I am not
I agree with
blind.
that.
I am not ignorant to this, and maybe I'm too old at 29 years old and I don't understand wrestling anymore. I'm stuck in the past. Guys, when it sucks, it sucks. And here's the deal. When I go to an indie show, nothing against some of the shows we've been to. It's been great quality, high quality, good performance. But this is national television.
It's supposed to be good.
It's supposed to be better. It's supposed to be. I don't care if I'm insulting all these indie promoters or even the wrestlers. That's no offense to you guys, but you guys are working for those contracts. You're working to get there. Top Flight is there because they worked for it, but they know they have to up their game.
Yeah.
And they have. Top Flight's been great.
Oh yeah,
but anyway,
highlight of watching AEW. That's it.
No offense to our boys in Top Flight, the bar's not high. Anyway, no. So here's the deal. Kenny comes off snotty, annoying. We go off about the Golden Sheik again. So another indie dude that nobody knew in America, and I'm supposed to sit here and call him the Great Golden Sheik. We had a Sheik, and he was made of iron down here.
Yeah.
Iron beats gold. Sorry, guys. That's just how that works.
Yeah, gold's a little soft.
Well, and what I love is that, some good points of this, Don did somewhat stick to kayfabe in the sense that he said, my trainer, the Golden Sheik, introduced me to his nephew, Kenny. We all know that's not Kenny's real name.
Yep.
We know that.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, you've got... Don Callis is a decent promo. He is.
Yeah, he has been good about that.
But it's just he's either trying too hard here or he's not trying hard enough because he knows Kenny can't do this. I don't care if that's your uncle. I don't care if that's your nephew. I don't care. Okay? Here's the deal. It wasn't good. Let me just point that out. And I'm sorry. I am not trying to be another podcast. This isn't a situation where we shit on it because it gets us views. We were barely getting any views, and go back to our earlier shows, folks. We had the same spot monkey references that we do now. It's when the shit stinks, the shit stinks.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like roses. It smells.
Yeah. Oof. So anyway, now we go to AEW Dynamite. Boy, do I got some stuff to say about this shit show. So anyway, number one.
Where are you gonna start?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I zipped through a lot of that. Too.
Yeah, here's the deal: the Varsity Blondes versus FTR. It was what I would expect from a team that, look, Brian Pillman Jr. is obviously playing off of the, Hollywood Blondes that is
his dad.
That his dad was in with Stone Cold. So I got nothing against those guys.
I appreciate that. I did like when they talked about that.
That's fantastic. And obviously Brian, Flying Brian was someone that we always loved. Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh yeah.
I give him credit for taking on the name of his dad because I don't think a lot of people today realize what Brian Pillman was to a lot of WWE and WCW television. I mean, it's a very big name to take on, and I give Brian Pillman all the love in the world for taking that name on. It's very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, let's go right off to the Bucks versus Hybrid 2. First of all, the camera guy from TNA was obviously running the truck because the Bucks get their entrance. And out of nowhere, the Hybrid 2 were already there. They were already at ringside. They'd already been introduced. Because here's the deal. They climb in the ring and attack the Bucks in the middle of their posing on the ropes. And Justin Roberts just slips in. Oh, yeah, the Hybrid 2. They're here, too. I'm like, what was that?
Trying to make them look badass.
I don't know. I don't know what it was because here's the deal. It is the opening of the show. I can't get an entrance for both teams.
Yeah.
Also, remember, even Jim Cornette talked about it. What's the most talked about thing about Hybrid 2 right now? It's not their matches. It's not their finishes. It's the weird dance that Angelico does when he walks into their music. It's that weird gyration thing that he does. The weird jazz tune. I don't know what the hell
he's a tall guy.
I mean,
he has no rhythm or something.
But
he's a weird ass rhythm.
Tall white guy, I guess it is. But no, it's just so you don't even play off of that. I have seen Vince McMahon see a really badly drawn child sign in the audience, and the next week it's not only part of a T-shirt, but the wrestler's now got it on his gimmick. Chris Jericho was the master of it back when Chris Jericho gave a shit. But just so you are sitting here, I watch the Bucks come in, the Bucks go flying, the money goes flying, the Bucks are in the ring, and then all of a sudden pan over to the Hybrid 2 are at ringside. And Justin Roberts announces them as if they got this big entrance.
Yeah.
And then they attack the Bucks. And by the way, it's interesting because I told you off mic here. I got messaged by Aaron and Marcus from the lounge here.
Yep.
And they both said, now I see why people are not a fan of these Young Buck matches. Nobody sold anything. What pissed me off was that, what is it? Buck Hogan? That's Nick Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to clarify which
Okay,
one
yeah,
they're calling.
yeah.
The Cornette calling him.
Yeah,
that,
yeah. Okay, so Buck Hogan, formerly Road Warrior Buck,
Yep.
is the black-haired, really tan as all hell looking one who supposedly has a leg injury. Which, by the way,
that was his knee or was that leg?
Whatever,
Something like that.
One
of his extremities.
It's not like he sold it in this match until the very end when the pinfall already happened.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yes.
That was the only time he sold it. Otherwise, he knocked out every move he's ever done. But like I had the conversation with Aaron, their matches have turned into highlight reels. That's it.
Yeah.
It is. We had this big spot in Japan. Now we have to kind of make that spot work here in America. Guys, just flow a match. Have a match that flows, that works, that makes sense.
Just basically
have a real tag team match.
Do it FTR. Like kind of what they did their match when they went in FTR. That was a lot better when they did.
13 minutes, by the way, to open the show.
Hey, Clara, specially colored those. Yeah.
We got a bunch of like Christmas cookies and cupcakes in the
yeah, the kids are with Grandma, and she wanted I brought frosting out there, and they decorated cookies and cupcakes, and that's what we have this week and the podcast, because we have baked stuff.
And no one to share it with, so we're both considering.
Well, no, I told the kids I'm bringing them, and we're gonna eat them on the podcast. And they're like, okay.
So anyway, the Bucks do their thing, they win. Then they toss one of the guys from Hybrid 2. I think it was Jack. They toss him into the crowd. He hits the Acclaimed. Who the hell are these guys?
They're two black guys. That's about all I got.
And that's not even us being racist, folks. They are two African-American gentlemen who are a bad CDF version of the Street Profits. That's the only thing that I can gather from this. I don't even know if that's their gimmick, but I don't know who you are.
And then the California guys come out.
One question. SCU.
SCU, yeah.
Here's my question, though. Have they been on Dark? The Acclaimed?
I don't know.
Do they have a record in forget Impact. Do they have a record in AEW? For that matter, do they have a record in Impact? Have they ever? Who the hell are these guys?
That's good.
And now all of a sudden, they're by the way, what I find funny is did they not announce last week in the interview with the Bucks where the Acclaimed first showed up? Did they not say the Hybrid 2 was gonna get a title shot? Did they say that in the interview, or did they just say, or was it just a shot at the Bucks?
I just think they were gonna do a match, not a title.
Okay. So it was non-title the whole time, but it's just, here's the deal. Then the Acclaimed hit the Bucks or whatever it was. I don't know. Like I said, I started fast forwarding at this point. I didn't care. There were a few high points in the show I wanted to get to. Let's get to the point that I completely missed the first time that I ran through the show. Shall we? Ladies and gentlemen.
Go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was 1 month ago, 3 weeks, give or take, that Brandy Rhodes cut the promo of her life. Cut the promo of Cody's life on Jade Cargill, who we now know is not a valet for Shaq. She is a young lady who played college basketball at, I think it was Jacksonville University. And,
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and Shaq was a big fan of hers. And now we've learned, and now we've figured out, this isn't Shaq versus Cody. This is Jade Cargill versus Brandy Rhodes. You can stop looking up the Acclaim. We're over them. Nobody actually cares.
I really didn't find nothing on them.
Because there isn't anything on these
I'm
guys.
gonna have to look at
I have no idea who these guys are.
I'm gonna have to look at Wikipedia for about
Yeah,
2
you're gonna have
seconds
to.
and see if there's anything on there.
But no, Leroy.
Leroy.
So Brandy has now. We haven't heard hide nor hair of the jolly green giant, Mr. Shaq, since she said, "I know a giant, and his name is Shaq." You couldn't have said Shaquille O'Neal. You couldn't have said Shaquille O'Neal. You had to say Shaq. First of all, we all loved that promo because it was so ungodly terrible that we had no choice but to judge it as a comedy skit. Nobody gave a damn about that seriousness. Jade Cargill is not ready for prime time. She ain't ready for nothing. She's a very fine-looking young woman, but you ain't ready for national television there, sweetie. And, by the way, this is not personal information. This is public knowledge. She actually has a young daughter with Brandon Phillips, formerly second baseman of multiple teams in Major League Baseball. Yeah. But Brandon was around for a lot of years. He was with the Reds for a while. I think that was where people mostly remember. But he was a good second baseman, in my opinion. He was an all-star level second baseman for a while. Yeah. But anyway, we're not here to talk about her personal life. We're here to talk about the fact that her professional life is getting off to absolutely one of the funniest and most uninteresting starts in wrestling I've seen in a long, long-ass time.
I don't know, but maybe not totally uninteresting. Interesting part to figure out is why the hell are they doing this?
I'm sorry, but the interesting part was a joke to begin with. So anyway, Brandy is sitting in a room. It looked like a warehouse. Like, Tony Khan can't even spend money on a sofa. He spends money on 3 chairs. And by the way, Tony Schiavone has a cup of water that doesn't have a table. It's just sitting in his hand. There's social distance. Brandy is working this as she's working as the chief brandy officer. And yes, I said chief brandy officer because that's how she gets introduced.
You need Brandy to watch Brandy.
She's dressed all nice. And may I just say this? I'm not saying this as a fashion expert, but why she had bright red shoes with the blue dress that she had on made no sense to me whatsoever.
Kind of clashes. I'm not very
Neither am I. My girlfriend dresses
clashes.
Me. My fiance dresses me, folks. So I don't know what the hell.
They're good at
doing.
that.
I'm a jeans and a t-shirt guy, and I have been since I was 13 years old, so it doesn't mean anything to me.
Same with me.
But it's just, here's the deal. She's staring at Shaq. Brandy gets pissed off that Tony Schiavone brings up the 4 world championships, the 15-time All-Star, member of the TNT Inside Edition of the NBA. He had his own thing on TNT as well, separately him for basketball. And Brandy just looks at, and Brandy doesn't look at Schiavone. She just adjusts her sling. She's a sling, by the way.
Well, she hurt herself.
Yeah, she got hurt from by the way, worst chair spot I've ever seen. Supposed to cripple somebody. Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the right arm? Was the sling on the correct arm?
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look. I think it might have been.
Anyways.
Let's hope so.
Anyway, so Brandy gets pissed off that Shivani's got all these accolades for Shaq, and she goes, "Oh, all you got for me is chief brandy officer." You know what? It's
That's
fine.
all she's got.
You have nothing else.
You're Cody's
You are nothing
wife. That's
in
it.
this. You are nothing in the wrestling business. Shaq has at least appeared on a WrestleMania card.
The only thing she has going is her married name.
That's it.
That's it.
You are not wrestling royalty. You married into wrestling royalty. You've never won a title belt anywhere. You were an announcer in WWE. You were not an on-air talent. You were an announcer. On-air talent, announcing whatever, same thing. I don't care. You were a ring announcer. You were not an in-ring competitor. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
You are sitting here and you are hot on Shaq. You are pissed off. Not as pissed as you were in that promo. Now you're just boring. Now you're just this like. It was weird. It was. That's all. It was Brandy. Brandy. That's wow. That's all I can come up with.
We got to keep that one. Oh yeah.
Sorry, Jim, but we're keeping that one.
Did he use that one?
No, he didn't.
Well, heck, then we can use that
Yeah,
one.
exactly. But anyway, but then what bothers me is Shaq is apologetic about her hurting her arm, about Jade hurting her arm. Shaq is
He's a very nice guy.
Well, but the thing about it is that he's being Shaq. Nobody gave him any notes. Nobody told him to like build up. And then Shaq's like, and then of course everything ends. I don't want to go through the whole interview because I don't care.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brandy is leaving professionally from this interview, and Shaq happens to mention, while you're hurt, you can learn a few things from Jade Cargill. I'm like, first of all, Leroy's kids could teach Brandy more about in-ring stuff than Jade Cargill could right now.
I believe so, yes.
And I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, Shaq said... First of all, Shaq's acting more like an actual on-air talent than Brandy is right now. Straight up. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculously stupid. It's a joke that now I am supposed to believe that Brandy is getting built up to face Jade Cargill. First of all, I've seen Brandy in the ring. I don't want to see it again. Second of all, I don't know who the hell Jade Cargill is from anyone else in this roster. You can put Big Swole in there, and the size difference might be a little different, but it's the same damn skill level.
So you're going to put two green-ass women in the ring.
Yep.
Somebody's going to hurt themselves.
Yep.
And they're going to...
Oh, Brandy's already hurt, don't forget.
Okay, yeah.
On the weakest stomp I've ever seen on a chair.
Hurt herself more.
Yeah.
And we have to choke down watching... Well, no, I'm going to, zip through it.
That's going to be a Mox Box rule before the bell even
Oh,
said.
God, yeah,
I ain't even going to watch the entrances.
Okay, there's a better one.
You and I live on the show when they finally announce the match. We're going to have to flip a coin. One of us is going to have to watch it. I'm sorry, but journalistic integrity, one of us is going to get flip. You know what? We're going to flip a coin. One of us is going to be forced to watch this. All right?
No.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
No.
Sorry, Leroy, we have to.
Oh,
nope.
no.
Yep. Nope. We're going to do it. We have to promise our fans that we're going to give an accurate.
As executive producer, I'm saying you can do it.
Yeah, okay, sure. 50-50 partner, you ain't making me do shit. Anyway.
I'm trying.
Anyway, Jade Cargill, who, by the way, her two influencers, according to Wikipedia.
Okay, what's that?
China, who, by the way, we'll talk about her a little bit later. Not the best worker I'd want to be the person that's my thing. And then Storm from the X-Men. So once again, she's like everybody else in this damn thing. It's all about comic books.
But here's which version of Storm?
I don't.
There's many.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes. Then after Shaq says the line, "You can learn a few things," Brandy gets hot again. But she gets hot by grabbing the water cup that Shivani's had this whole time. He didn't even drink out of it. He was just holding it because it was a prop. She grabs it, and by the way, I've watched. I mean, I'm just gonna say this right now. I've watched just on Rowdy Roddy Piper him smash Snuka with a coconut. I've watched him, I've watched him smash Snuka with a coconut. I watched him say, "Oh, Mr. Downing, give me one of them smokes," and then he fire extinguished the guy. In Piper's Pit, I've seen people I saw freaking Carmella almost assault Sasha Banks with a freaking champagne bottle. Actually, she did assault her with a champagne bottle.
She
did.
did
Break it over. So, okay, all of these things I've seen happen. One of them was shortly after this. And she doesn't even take the water and throw it straight in Shaq's face to where it hits him in the face and then it spreads. She literally does it so as to not hurt the man. Where she did that little, wrist flip where it went up and then it hit him. And while there was enough water to make a significant splash on his face, it didn't hit him like somebody who was angry. You came out and you cut the promo of your life. You were calling her a heifer. You need to get out of my building. Jade Cargill gave you a nice little slap on the tushy there. And you got hot. You got pissed. There had to be Jerry Lynn at the lowest point of Jerry Lynn's career was this moment. He had to hold you back. There were referees. And you just simply call Shaq an asshole, a big asshole, and then you threw water on him in a way that's so as to not splash him in the face to where it hurt. And then it ended with Shaq not pissed, Shaq not angry. It was Shaq being Shaq. He just looked at the camera with that weird, stupid, goofy look, which, by the way, works for him because Shaq is obviously a great, funny guy,
I love
entertainer.
him.
Is
I
great.
love him. Yeah.
But it was Shaq being Shaq. It
Yeah.
wasn't Shaq being, I'm pushing Jade Cargill to the top of the freaking mountain in the women's division. Which, by the way, there was a young lady, I'm not going to name her name, but she was in the Discover Pro Wrestling discussion thing, who said AEW needs to work on the women's division by getting some more veteran talent and then building it around Penelope Ford. I lost my ever-loving mind here saying, let me get this straight. You want to build around the woman who hasn't wrestled in God knows how long on television, but she's been Kip Sabian's fiance on ARM while Miro is coming out in a mini shirt? Like, folks, Penelope Ford, that's who you're going to base your wrestling division on? And the young lady was like, yeah, that's my girl. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, you tried to do it around the champion.
who they're not.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but Penelope Ford beating Hikaru Shida makes no sense right now. But hey,
No.
this is AEW. Kenny will do whatever. Kenny's
But-
too big. Kenny. I think right now Kenny is actually booking the women's division from said bus, and he just simply slips the paper underneath the bus door, and then Callis brings it to Khan or so.
I don't. I think the women is doesn't. It's not a mountain. It's kind of like a molehill.
It ain't even a molehill.
They really not even maybe an anthill.
Ants have carried more impressive things up their anthills than the
That's true.
division.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, so now we move on to the real reason why Dynamite had a rating. No, it was not the champ.
Oh,
no,
heck
no, it was not MJF, who, by the way, had the best thing on this show, a 30-second promo. That was it. 30-second promo was the best thing on the show.
Yeah. He had a good promo.
Yeah,
Yes.
it wasn't him versus Orange Pocket Cassidy's freshly squeezed. It was Sting. Came
Yeah.
out for an interview. Cody once again gets his long entrance. And by the way, here is another point where the editing sucked.
Why is he out there anyways?
We'll get to that, I guess. So anyway, Cody comes out. Now, I've watched Cody come out for a match, and Arn will come out of the entry tunnel.
Yeah, the tunnels. Yeah.
Here, it just edited to Cody's in the ring, and somehow Arn got his old, now, yes, I'll say it, somewhat out of shape butt into the ring. I didn't see where he came from. Nobody knew where he came from, because we just edited straight to a screen of Arn's in the ring. Whoop-de-doo! And then...
You just don't want to watch him charlante down to the ring or
I
something.
don't know. This is... Arn, I know you were only backstage and you weren't on television, but at least WWE, if you were out there, they would have handed you a microphone or something.
Yeah.
Because you're Arn Anderson. You're the enforcer.
And Sting was there.
Yeah, but anyway, so Shivani's there, and for the 10,000th time, I can't tell you when, Cody isn't even asked the question fully, and the lights go out, and now Sting's here, because once again he comes out and he to the snow. Okay,
It's snowing. Yes.
it's Surfer Sting, Crow Sting. We've never had anything to do with snow, but now it happens every time he shows up, and it's all over the camera. They don't know what the hell they're doing,
No, they don't.
and they stuck on the same camera that was in front of Sting while it kept getting the fake snow on it. I'm like, at that point, you tell the guy in the truck, switch to the hard camera, so that it doesn't look like you're driving through what is currently Superior Duluth.
Yeah.
But anyway, Botch, I can't. So anyway, Sting comes in the ring, and Arn immediately excuses himself, which, really, you worked so hard to get Arn Anderson and Sting back on TNT after 20-some years. 18 years was the last time Sting was on, obviously,
Yes.
WCW television. And Arn just excuses himself?
Yeah. I was like,
Really?
we got our history. I'm leaving.
That's it. And Sting didn't stop. But
Why?
then Tony Schiavone comes in, and all of a sudden, Sting, it's time for the hug moment. Bring it in, Tony. It's a feel good moment. Really? In the Crow
I know.
Sting makeup.
Oh my God.
This was
Yeah.
okay. Tell me I'm wrong because you watched every moment of Sting on Nitro. This was Surfer Sting giving a promo dressed as Crow Sting.
Yeah. That's about right. It made no sense. Like, It's this big thing. It was like Tony's gonna interview and Tony's gonna be there.
Sting! That was it.
Yeah,
That was the whole payoff moment. Was just, can you give me one more there, Tony? And I'm like, oh.
and that's it. And then he left. It's like, wait a minute. I thought he was gonna speak.
I thought there was an interview to be had with Tony
was
Schiavone.
gonna be there. But
I
no.
don't know what's going on. This
No.
isn't an interview segment. This isn't a fight. I don't know what's going on in this wrestling show. But anyway, he then sits there and he gives a heartfelt farewell to Tony. He hugs him. Tony's out of the ring. And then Sting gives a fairly decent promo about how I'm back, but I'm not back here for you. Not yet. And then he looks up at Darby Allin. And at this moment, I can't help but be smart and think to myself about all the things that are happening here. I can sit here and be your kids who sit here and look at Sting. You know, okay. Show them all the times that for 1 year Sting was in the rafters and then he would, rappel down, beat somebody up, and then he'd leave. Cool. Show them that, and then now show them that he's still there. Your kids would pop. You and I can't get over the fact that here's a guy who never had surgery on spinal stenosis.
And he's back in the ring.
No. That's not even my point. Put him in the ring, whatever. Pay him to give a promo. But here's the deal. I can't help but sit here and think about all the injuries this man's. By the way, he's older than Undertaker.
Yes, he is.
So a 60-year-old guy with spinal stenosis basically broke his neck the last time he was in a ring. And then WWE did nothing else with him, which I'm okay with, because why would I want half-ass Sting? That's what AEW's getting.
Yeah,
but
that's all he got.
Anyway, Darby Allin, I'm not going to knock Darby Allin. I'm just saying, you've got a guy who's 60-plus years old with spinal stenosis, who we know can't wrestle for 30 minutes, and you're going to put him in the ring with the psycho Darby Allin, the guy who puts himself in a real body bag with real thumbtacks and lets Brian Cage toss him over the top rope. I'm like, this is the guy who on his own dime, on his own time, is filming vignettes where he's jumping off a fucking 100-story bridge or whatever it was. They're not even paying him for it. It's his own friggin' time. And if they are paying him for it, they ain't paying him enough.
Yeah.
And you want me to believe in spinal stenosis Sting, Triple S, versus Darby Allin, who does nothing but take dumbass risks, and I'm supposed to believe that I'm going to get a payoff on that? No!
No. The only one person that is safe for him to wrestle
It's Cody.
is Cody.
He's the only safe guy in the company.
Yeah.
He'd honestly be safer with Arn, because Arn can do about as much as Sting can right now.
Yeah, that's about it.
But anyway, it's interesting because we need to also segue into another topic here before we finish Dynamite. The rumors are back. What would have been Taker versus Sting?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the deal. And if I'm paraphrasing what Jim Cornette said, fine. But you and I talked about this before. Jim talked about it in the drive-thru. That is a match best left to the imagination.
Yeah.
And here's why. I accept the history of professional wrestling. I accept why Sting didn't go to the WWE. I accept why he wasn't there for that long. But let's be realistic. Let's not live in fantasy video game land for 2 seconds, which means let's not talk about Spot Monkey, but too late.
Yeah.
Let's go back to reality. The only time you were going to get Sting versus Taker was going to be at a time where, forget Sting's shape, Taker was already broken down and busted. Taker was already at a point where the only people he could work with were the young guys who could take those kind of bumps, make them look good, not get hurt. Seth Rollins is a very safe worker. He just sometimes has some spots that don't look great. And the buckle bomb should never have been used on Sting to begin with.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't have been.
And Sting's the one who said it was my fault. That's on record. Don't tell me that it's all Seth's fault, when Sting basically took the blame. And you want him in there with a guy who's just as beaten down, broken as him, and younger. Guys, the peak of their wrestling careers were never at the same time. At all. And look, at the only chance we would have gotten them to work, it would not have been what you people think. Guys, look, that is a match that even Leroy will say, and Leroy's like, oh my god, Surfer Sting versus the American Badass might have been cool. It's a match.
Definitely would have been good.
It's a match that just it was never going to work. And Mark knew that. Mark Calloway, Undertaker, he knew not to do the match. I understand Sting wanted it when he got to WWE, but again, this goes back to everybody being like, well, what can Sting do now with spinal stenosis? He could be a manager. Sting's never been a manager. It's never been his thing. He could be a trainer. Sting was never a wrestling student, where Sting was a bodybuilder. Look, I am not diminishing Sting. I love Sting.
Oh, so
but
do
let
I,
me
yes.
explain something here. You and I are going to be honest about our heroes. We'll talk about a couple of them here in a little bit, because we're going to talk about 3 people who are big, big history-making people, but they're not wrestlers. They're entertainers who got into the wrestling business. Look, Sting came in with Warrior, and Sting was just a better student. He listened. He got it. But he was never a fan growing up. He looked good, and he made a bunch of money at it. Okay? He's not Brock Lesnar, who really did train under it. Brock really did learn a lot of the nuances of it. And Brock obviously has physically kept himself up a lot better than Sting did. But, I mean, that's not a fault of Sting. But it's just, Sting can't do the things that people want him to do. Everyone's like, he can teach Darby. Sting has been one of the... Sting's not Ric Flair. He's not William Regal. Sting's not, this or that. Sting's not going to be the guy who can pass on wrestling knowledge because he learned so much and he's a good teacher. I love me some Stinger. I really do. But I'm sitting here and I'm trying to explain to people that Sting is a wrestler. Sting is a wrestler. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Sting is a guy who understood what it took to get himself over. I don't think Sting can get anyone else over. When he was in TNA, he always worked with guys who could get themselves over. Hogan was already over. Jeff was already over. AJ Styles was over with that audience. Sting understood what Stinger was. I don't think Sting's going to walk in there and put Darby Allin on a whole new level. I love me Sting, but I also can acknowledge that the real person behind the face paint was more about himself than the business. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Now, I think Taker working with NXT is brilliant because Taker always wanted to give back. Taker was always a student of the game. Taker was there in the days where if you could walk to the ring, you put on the full freaking match. That's not Sting. Yeah.
It's not concrete that he's going to do that.
No, it's not 100% concrete, but Triple H is very excited.
Is saying,
Hunter's very excited. But it's just, look, I'm not copying Cornette. I think we all know, and we can all search our feelings. Search your feelings, Jeff. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay.
We'll cut that out because that's probably copyrighted by somebody. Anyway.
Whatever.
Whatever. Anyway, but no. Leroy, I'm going to ask you, as big of a fan of Sting as you are, have you ever seen Sting? And look, it worked in TNA because he was the name. That was it.
Yeah.
But Sting's going to be the commissioner, the GM, the trainer, the manager. Sting has never been these things. And even when he was it in TNA, it was short-lived because he gave it right back to Dixie Carter, who then screwed him over.
Yeah.
That was all kayfabe, on air stuff.
But,
but no, it's just, look, do you see Sting ever being impactful anywhere other than being the Stinger? Is that possible to you?
I don't see him doing anything. I mean, him training or teaching and mentoring anybody, I don't see him. I mean, behind the scenes maybe, but not on camera.
I think Sting can teach guys how to save their money, how to be good guys backstage. Because remember, Sting was never a partier. Sting never did that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All stuff. That's why he was able to have a long career. That's why Warrior did not have a long career, and Sting did. Because Sting was just a better human being. And again, not besmirching the dead of Warrior, but we all know what Warrior's past was outside of the ring. And, that exists. You could do a 2-part, 3-hour special on the dark side of the ring on just what Warrior did outside of the ring. You could. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. But it's just Sting, I love you. But you've been good at getting yourself over for about 40 years now. I don't know if you're the kind of guy that's going to come in and because here's the deal. William Regal has always seemed like a mentorship type person. I can see that in Regal. I get that from Regal.
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels, I get it from Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Regal's new role of NXT.
Yeah.
It's great. I love that.
A-Train is a great head coach. Matt Bloom is a great head coach down there. Sarah Amato's fantastic, with the ladies. They trust him.
Yeah.
Even Chris Sabin did a great job as a guest trainer that one time.
Yeah, he did.
But it's just guys. Well, and actually they said it on the Jim Cornette drive-through. I think it was the drive-through that they answered this question. You really think about it. What are Sting's two biggest catchphrases? Woo, which is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And it's Showtime, which is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
The fake Tim Burton-like character. I'm not saying Tim Burton invented him, but the cartoon character Beetlejuice, that you said his name 3 times and he appeared. So, I mean, let's be honest here. What does Sting really have that was overly original other than Surfer Sting? Because truth be told, they called it Crow Sting because he got it from the movie. I'm not sure. I love everything Sting has ever done in his career in the ring. It was great. Joker Sting is one of my all-time favorite gimmicks, period, end of story.
That was a crazy gimmick.
But here's the deal. He got that from Heath Ledger. It was a tribute to Heath Ledger.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, but in all honesty, if we can have an honest conversation, has Sting ever done anything where he was the veteran who helped get people over, or was he just a guy who had all the charisma that God could give a wrestler, but was never a fan of the business? He just was a good student who had talent that was brought out of him. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong at all. I mean, he has some to contribute to what now, but like in the ring,
he's got everything to contribute. But to sign a multi-year deal to say I'm going to be here for a long time and I've got business to attend to, and not with you, Cody, not yet.
His contract will be longer than AEW is around.
Tony Khan's going to be paying for Sting for a long time, and AEW's not going to have the revenue for it. But no, it's just I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, what are we doing? We're trying to live on our past. Look, first of all, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, it was great to see Sting and Tony Schiavone back on TNT. Not going to say it wasn't.
Yeah, wonderful.
But the other issue I have, and this is, again, a fact that you cannot deny, doesn't matter who brought it up, Sting's biggest house he ever drew, his biggest number, was after a year of being in the rafters doing nothing. Now he's going to be a continuous contributor as Crow Sting.
And everybody gave a lot of crap to WWE bringing back older stars. Goldberg came. Oh, why'd you bring it? And then all of a sudden, the greatest thing ever that AEW did, they brought Sting. It's really?
The Vince hate. That's all it is.
Yeah, and
it's the hatred of Vincent Kennedy McMahon for what he supposedly has turned. Look, the wrestling business would have evolved with or without Vince. Vince just had the vision to do it to where it made him $1 billion. That's it. End of story.
And I don't blame him, because if I could do that myself, I would have done it.
Yeah.
And shared with whoever I could. But it's like everybody's going like, oh, this is the greatest. I'm like, no, it's the same thing. They're rehashing and doing the same thing that Vince did and succeeded.
And what bothers me the most, I'll let you finish your statement.
And they want to do what WWE has done, but no, you can't.
Also, let's look at the stars that have been brought in recently. Arn Anderson can barely give a spine buster anymore without needing help up. Greg the Hammer Valentine showed up. We all know Greg can't really go that much in the ring anymore.
Yeah, he can't. No.
You and I watched a comedy match with him that was good for what it was, but Honky Tonk was in better shape than him, and I don't even think Tony Kong knows who Honky Tonk is.
He probably, maybe he does.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sting, spinal stenosis, 61, older than Taker. Taker can probably still get himself in ready shape for one match.
Yeah.
Sting is not medically cleared. Look, folks, Sting didn't finish off in WWE because medically Vince is not going to let a 61-year-old guy break his neck. It's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I told Daniel Bryan no for so long, because Daniel wasn't going to break his goddamn neck. But anyway, it's just okay. Then you got Tully Blanchard. Great promo, not physically capable of doing anything anymore. I think Jake the Snake Roberts is still there, but Jake's not capable of wrestling anymore.
No, he can do a few things, but he is on the mic.
So you've spent all this money. We just named all these stars, some of the biggest stars in the history of the business, man.
Oh, yes, definitely, yes.
Let's preface that. But in their own time. WWE has brought back Kevin Nash, still somewhat in shape. Goldberg got in some of the best shape of his life.
God, yes.
Hell, Edge got in the best shape of his life for return. We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Yes, I am jealous of how good in shape he is.
They brought back Brock, who is a physical effing freak until the day he dies.
Definitely.
Put Brock in with a 20-something UFC guy who's Brock's gonna beat that kid up. It's insanity.
Well,
but
and they brought Flair back, but they're using Flair correctly at his age.
They're using all of them where they need to be. Look, if Bill couldn't get in the ring, I don't want to see Bill Goldberg.
Bill wouldn't want to do it either.
But here's the deal. Vince knows what Bill Goldberg was. And we'll obviously, you and I both watch, and then we'll review the 173-0.
It is on the network, yes.
You and I should both watch that, and then we'll. You know what? We're gonna set up a show here where you and I are gonna watch a bunch of stuff on the network and a bunch of stuff on like Amazon. We'll obviously do the David Arquette thing. You and I are gonna put a list of things. We're gonna watch them, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna review. So
sweet. All right, yeah, we'll have to make up a list.
Yeah, we'll do that list
later.
Figure
it out.
But no, it's just what was Bill Goldberg? He was an absolute wrecking ball. He was a jackhammer, no pun intended. But that's who Bill was. That's what Bill's peak was. And Vince is still using him as that. Bill was never the best promo in the business. You get Tully Blanchard, he can still talk because Tully can talk all day.
Yeah.
You bring in Jake the Snake, he can talk all day. Bill can't talk all day. That was never Bill's thing.
No, smash and grab.
And we'll talk about Bill here a little bit later on the show. You and I obviously have a thing here about that. But no, it's just Bill Goldberg, if he can't wrestle, is useless at this age. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. And even Bill would say that.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to go that much longer.
No.
I mean, he's smart enough. He came back, he said,
for his kid,
so his son could see him wrestle.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that because I would want to do the same thing.
Taker could come back and do what Arn does because Taker already had the ministry. We watched it. We saw it. Whether or not that was the high point of his career ever is irrelevant. Taker could come back. Not that Taker would. I mean, at this point, I think Taker's legacy is what it is as just Taker, not leading the ministry. But it's just, guys, really? Stinger? Really? Okay, anyway. So that ends with nothing. Now we get to... We're still on Dynamite, folks. We didn't even know what Dynamite. Now we get to the crux of my annoyance. The bad camera ship, all of it. Kenny Omega appears in a helicopter, and I will bet a large sum of money that was only a 2-seater helicopter. And when he got out and they panned away, Don Callis rushed in to get in the helicopter as well. You got a billionaire's checkbook. You can't even afford a 4-seater helicopter.
I know. I said you pulled it. I'm like, no, that's not enough. They're not. Somebody's flying that.
That's
one of them. That's what I thought. One of them was flying it, and they're getting out. No, he got out, and then he shows up.
Yeah.
Like, what? So where the heck did he come from?
You're saying that before I even explained to our audience, so you obviously saw it before I did.
I know. It's like, was he like in the luggage area in the back, crammed in there or something? They pull him out.
It was so painful to watch.
Yes.
And then
it was painful to watch the same promo again.
Yeah, well, that's it. Then they get in the ring, and it's the same freaking promo, just in a different setting, just with a few different things. Why you need the women for the broom thing when you're not in a match, I don't understand, but okay, we're going to do that.
And make hotter women. That's it. Less clothes, hotter women.
Okay. But
or just less clothes would be good.
but just Leroy. I don't know. I don't know. I've seen some of the. I've seen Vicky Guerrero's on the AEW roster. That's not always. The
Well,
best
we're
thing in
not
the
going to
world.
have her with less
Okay,
clothes.
okay,
All right,
okay,
all right.
okay. Anyway,
Well,
we love you, Vicky. We really do.
you know.
But not like that.
No, no.
You ain't Dolphin, I ain't Edge. So here we go, folks.
I ain't drunk enough either.
No. But here's the deal. You can't tell me that you couldn't, as Jim Cornette has said before, doing something on top of something else that's the same basic idea. It's putting a hat on a hat. How is this not putting a hat on a hat where he basically gave the same flippin' promo on Dynamite that he did on frickin' Impact?
Yeah.
It's the same shit, different day.
I was waiting. It was like, okay, he's going to be there. Okay. He's going to go into more detail of what
That's the
his
thing.
plan is.
We have learned we've learned
Nothing.
we've learned more about Sting and more about the Acclaimed than we have about the reason Kenny Omega is doing what Kenny Omega is doing. That is what bothers me. Is I know more about Sting on TNT. I know more about the Acclaimed than I know what Kenny Omega and Don Callis have planned.
I saw a fan watching Kenny's first promo, and he was overjoyed, saying that Kenny was going to be the collector of championships. I'm like, okay, if he's going to do that, not a bad idea.
First of all, Austin Aries already did it and didn't get very far with it,
but I mean, if you're doing something like that, okay, I guess so. But yeah, come on.
He sings his frickin' promos.
Yeah.
And it that's not even me copying Jim Cornette. He's legitimately singing the end of sentences in his promo. And then of course we got the thing, I must bid you adieu. Ooh. Bang! And I'm just like, dude, you're not in the Bullet Club anymore, and if you're not going to mention Bullet Club, why are we saying bang? You're not DDP.
Yeah.
Like, was the Bullet Club nothing but recycled bullshit? Was that all Bullet Club was?
No.
But
maybe he was, but that's what he's doing now. He's going to be on Tuesday night. He's going to be on Impact again. That's what they're saying.
But here's the thing.
But they got to do more.
Well, but here's the thing, folks. Everybody talked about how this cross-brand promotion thing was going to change the wrestling business. Guys, if that's all it's going to be, I ain't seeing much out of this. Impact ain't going to benefit any more than AEW is. And the fact is, you're taking the new promotion who can't get over the million hump, but a half dozen times a year. And then you take the promotion who can't get over the 100,000 bump more than maybe half a dozen times a year.
All the time.
You're taking a promotion that's been left for dead 7 times, if that, and you're taking the new guys on the street, you're combining them, and who's really benefiting? It was fun when you teased all these dream matches, but then it's like, in 1 week, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got absolutely nothing.
I'm very, very disappointed. I mean, hopefully, and I'm hoping that they can actually pull some somebody's ass.
Also, by the way, I don't know if we covered this on the show last week with Stewie. There's a rumor that this is just until Don Callis' contract with Impact runs out.
Yeah, we did mention that.
Okay, we
did.
So, folks, right now, it's leaning towards Don Callis is going to end up in AEW managing Kenny Omega, and he's going to leave Impact for dead again.
Yeah.
What have we gotten out of this? I don't understand. Somebody help me understand what this partnership is going to do for anybody if it's just Kenny cutting the same promo 2 times a week.
Trying to sell more shirts. That's about it.
That's all it is.
And giving us people like me and Zach a headache because we got to watch these idiots and tell you what we think. Because we're guessing that you want to hear this. People are listening, but
I don't care if I come off sounding like a non-Southern wrestling version of Jim Cornette. I'm going to give my honest opinion, and my honest opinion is when I sit there and I listen and I watch as an educated wrestling fan, even as a casual wrestling fan, there's so many things that draw my attention away from what they're trying to do that I can't just not see it. I can't not say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say the show was edited beautifully when there were clearly cuts to cuts to cuts, and I'm like, who the hell's editing this? An epileptic?
I think so.
I don't know what to say.
They got to give us more.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave us absolutely nothing.
In 2 shows.
Yeah.
2 shows. 4 hours of entertainment. I got 20 total minutes, folks. 20 total minutes of Kenny Omega, who is supposed to be this crossover genius. And I'm just looking at myself like, okay, so Kenny's going to wrestle for, what, 4 or 5 companies a week? So, okay, quick question, though. To make any impact whatsoever, no pun intended, he wins the Impact World title. He's the AEW World Champion. What else is he going to win?
Didn't he wrestle at like the Triple A, AAA, whatever?
Well, yeah, he's got the AAA Mega Championships, but AAA's not selling tickets on AEW Dynamite.
No, they're not.
It's not selling tickets to Impact. Impact's had their guys up and down the roster.
But what is he going to do if he has that title?
Well, he's already got it.
Well, no, the Impact title.
I don't know, dude.
It's like,
is he going to wrestle in AAA, Impact, and AEW Dynamite all these nights, all these weeks? And I'm sitting here looking at myself like, this is why Vince doesn't necessarily like to work with other people. Because my guys are going to get hurt from too busy of a schedule, and I'm the one that's going to lose money. Yeah. Not you guys.
And as Triple H stated too, they look at the longevity, not a month or 2 down the line.
I don't know if I said
years
this.
down the line.
I don't know if I said this.
Yeah,
I don't know if I said this last week, but basically, you have to be able to hold up your end of the bargain.
Yeah.
In WWE, if you're going to work with them, Ring of Honor would be a nice, cool crossover, but Ring of Honor would have to up their game to not. And again, not that there isn't talent in Ring of Honor. I'm not talking on-screen, in-ring ability talent.
Yeah.
You need to be able to keep up your end of the bargain with the lights, the cameras, the promotion, all of these things. And good luck.
But I think that's probably a good reason why WWE is doing, their NXT, and they have NXT UK.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting their own company out everywhere.
NXT India, I think, is on its way.
They're working on that.
Which, by the way, if that happens, can I finally get Indo Sheer back on some form of television? I don't know where the hell those guys went.
Yeah, I know. But I think, I think what Impact, they tried to do it and it didn't work for them. No. But Vince, in his knowledge, I think there's a pretty good chance it probably will work.
Vince is an old boxing promoter. Vince knows how to make money. He understands what works and what doesn't. I don't care what anybody says.
And the scene over there is, the wrestling scene is huge over there right now.
Yeah.
It's heard. And it's like
groundswell is far past, and we're now at the big boom.
So it'll be fun that eventually that comes on tube, that we'll be talking about that.
Definitely. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move past this partnership of nothingness to ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
This is how I feel about moving past
that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it happened. It has come. It has gone. Black Sabbath was once again brought to the hearts of America.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I know. Here, can we do this?
You go for it.
Oh, yeah.
War Games finally came and went. It was a great show. I enjoyed it. I'm going to be 100% honest. We're going to go match by match. There were some things I liked and I didn't like. We'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I did enjoy War Games.
No. Overall, it was well done. But once again, I think there was stuff there that could be this or that. To open the show, we had Legado del Fantasma versus Kurt Stallion, Ashanti the Adonis, and August Gray. Obviously, we knew how that was going to go. That was a squash.
Yeah.
It was what it was. We opened the official War Games with the women's War Game match.
Yes.
My only problem here, which was the one with the other one, is we're sitting here, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, these were too long. These were too long for War Games. I understand. I understand the way that it works these days. I understand the way that we think about these things is. I want to see these guys do all these crazy stunts. I want to see them up their game. I want to see every War Games get better. Leroy, you yourself have seen some of the original War Games. You watched the old days when it was, obviously the Four Horsemen would face off against a babyface faction of Dusty. War Games was a finality type of thing.
Oh God, yes.
But War Games was designed to be unique, whereas the match doesn't start until everybody's in the cage. Whereas the Royal Rumble doesn't end until we've had 30 guys, but you can throw somebody out and stand there for 2 minutes. I mean, there's no issue there. But what just boggled my mind about this whole thing was 35. The point of War Games is to beat the crap out of each other, and then once all four people are in the ring, you work towards a finish.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like these two War Games were designed to be, well, we have to follow the original format of everyone comes in at intervals, but we want the real action to happen when there's 8 people in the ring. Or 7 if you're the women's War Game match, and all of a sudden Io Shirai falls from the rafters with a trash can around her, which, by the way, was a brilliant entrance, in my opinion, to War Games. But no,
that was good.
Call me crazy. The women's match, I like how it ended. I think I had the faces winning.
Yes, you had the faces.
I had the faces.
I picked the heels.
But I did like the ending, especially since I think it's going to build Raquel Gonzalez, who ultimately, for those of you who don't know, won the match by basically bombing Io Shirai into the metal that separated the two rings. But look, I mean, call me crazy. 35 minutes just seemed like... see, this is my problem. I loved ECW. Love it to this day.
Oh, yeah.
But ECW, it made sense why there were weapons. It made sense why they had crazy spots. Because that's what they were doing. That was the point. You have an amazing talent roster. Let them speak for themselves. You don't need the weapons to fill War Games. Maybe a chair or two, but you didn't need everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, literally. Well, the women didn't do as much as that, but I think the men's did a lot more.
Right, we'll get to that in a little bit here. But my whole thing about this is just I liked the ending. I liked a lot of the stuff in the middle. It got a little long, and I even said it in the middle. It just seems like, I mean, look. If this had gone 30 minutes, but there were 5-minute intervals between everybody coming in, and then once everybody got in, it was only 10 minutes, fine. But everybody got in at the 10-minute mark, and then there was 25 minutes of action. Whereas in my opinion, you should have flipped it, because here's the deal: the point of the match is that people get the living crap beat out of them until it starts. So before the bell even rings, you're getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
That's the point of War Games.
I did like Shotzi's upgrade on her tank.
Yes, no, that was good. That was very good.
I loved that. I was looking forward to seeing that.
I enjoyed it. It was a good match. It just got a little bit drawn out to me.
Yeah.
But again, maybe I'm comparing it to what I wanted War Games to be. Maybe I had a preconceived notion, because you're never going to top the Dusty versus the Horseman War Games. It's never going to work like that.
Yeah, I believe that's on the network. So if anybody has it, go watch those.
Anyway, next up was the match I was really looking forward to: Tommaso Ciampa versus Timothy Thatcher.
Oh wow, yeah.
This is a match that, again, I've said this about Timothy Thatcher since he got to NXT. He will always have probably the lowest rated match on the card, ratings wise, but he's going to have a great match because it's old school. It's beat somebody up. It's tear a limb off. It's Timothy Thatcher would have worked in any territory in America back then. He would have worked in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely tremendous. Tommaso, obviously, anything he does in ring, I'm always going to be impressed by. I'm always going to enjoy, because he's so good at what he does, and he's so into making sure that he does it in NXT.
Yeah, they put on a hell of a match.
And by the way, Timothy is a very safe worker for Tommaso to work with because of the neck stuff. It was great. I loved it. This is the Mox Box rule, but like in reverse.
Yeah.
In the sense that I don't really need to talk about it because it was just a good wrestling contest.
And I think didn't Timothy like
tap out? Yeah.
No, he didn't tapped out, but he ripped his ear
open, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know what, but yeah, that, which is fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was great.
It went well with the match.
The next match, which actually Marcus had a comment on, only because he loves Cameron Grimes. Dexter Lumis defeats Cameron Grimes in a strap match. I know I talked about I wasn't a fan of the strap match becoming Dexter's thing, but it was good. It wasn't bad. And like I said, Cameron Grimes is supposed to be a comedy spot, but he's a good comedy spot.
Yes,
He's annoying and obnoxious to the best way.
I have grown to really enjoy him on NXT.
I love Cameron Grimes. I absolutely love to watch him perform. I think he's got a great personality. I even asked Marcus, who's the big Impact guy in the lounge, how the hell did Impact not know that this guy was this good on the mic? Because he came in as a caveman, barely ever talked. And I'm like, bro,
they didn't know.
Bro, he's got a personality over here. Anyway, then we went to one of the oddest triple threat matches I ever saw, but I don't care what Jim Cornette said. I don't care what anyone said. I loved this. This was exactly what it should have been. There was Leon Ruff being Leon Ruff. I loved the internal struggle of Damian Priest of what did I just do? I love the spot where they had, Damian Priest razor's edge him through the barricade, and then the second barricade fell, which I don't think was planned.
No, I don't think so.
That just happened, but it was great. And look, this is the Gargano way making sense to me.
Yeah.
Finally, Candice got her lackey, and I think right now with Austin Theory, the best place for him to be technical in the ring, is with Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, and I thought that was a great, because everybody saw the one.
And then there were 7.
And then, but in the original one, they saw the
one
Scream mask. They had the one ghost face, and then you saw who it was, and then they went, and then you saw another one.
Yeah.
So you saw so many during the match. It was worth it.
Johnny pulled it off. I thought it was well done. I would have loved to have seen Leon go over, but I understand that. Love you, Leon. I don't think you have much else to go on other than working with these two guys. And
that's about it.
And Johnny is able to be obnoxious still, but now he's got a reason to be obnoxious because he won type of situation. It was great. I loved it. It was picture perfect in my opinion on what it was supposed to be. Damian Priest looked like the big guy. He looked like the colossal Goliath in the match.
Yeah, and then after Wednesday's NXT too, it seems like they're kind of
teasing him with
they're pulling him out of the North American Championship window and putting him in maybe the heavyweight for the NXT Championship.
It's either going to be the NXT Championship or it's going to be a run with the returning Karrion Kross, who looks great by the way coming back. And by the way, his wife or girlfriend, whatever she is, she looks phenomenal coming back. My goodness, was that impressive to watch.
I hate to see her go, but love to watch her leave.
Yeah. Finn Balor's also back. Finn's in a great mood. I love it.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to the men's War Game match. This was good for a while because Kyle O'Reilly started. They got their shtick in. They didn't use the cage often until Roddy really came in.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the only negative to this whole thing was 2 things. Sadly, they both involved McAfee. He didn't.
All right.
He redeemed himself Monday morning, but I'll explain.
Yeah.
Anyway, McAfee gets in, and he just starts throwing every weapon he can think of in there. Just fill in the cage with the tables, the chairs, The cricket bat thing was a weird spot early on. I'm not exactly sure what that was about, but
Well, that went with the one guy is from.
well, they're British,
England.
fine, but cricket bat, for God's sakes, give me a billy club. Although that would have been if Rich Holland was in there,
Yeah.
obviously.
But
anyway.
with the tables with each one of the Undisputators' name on it,
Yeah.
I understood that. I saw the
Anyway.
gimmick with that.
I loved that Cole used the fire extinguisher spot to get in. That was phenomenal. I thought that was just absolutely hilarious.
Yep.
It made sense. Cole got in there. War Games started. My only issue is not who went over, because I obviously had the Undisputed Era going over because it wouldn't have made sense for McAfee to come back.
Yeah.
If he
yeah.
wasn't going
I
to stay.
agree with that.
But why did Cole not pin McAfee?
Yeah.
I know, yes, okay, you can argue, well, we already saw that. Well, but that was the whole point from the get-go, was Cole versus McAfee. And by the way, O'Reilly didn't pin the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne. He pinned one of the tag team guys that no one cares about.
Yeah.
If he'd pinned Pete Dunne for what happened in the ladder match, I get it. If one of the tag guys, being Roddy and Bobby, had pinned one of the tag guys, okay, I get it. If Cole had pinned McAfee, I get it. But Kyle beating... Did he beat Birch or did he beat Lorcan? I swear he beat Birch.
Oh. Well, it doesn't say on here.
Okay, so...
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah. Anyway. But no, I mean, again, 45 minutes for War Games? A bit long.
Yeah, there was a couple spots.
Your thoughts?
I enjoyed it, and yeah, I did. I honestly thought when Adam Cole, Bebe, hit his move on Pat that it was done. I was like, oh, and it's gonna keep going. I mean, they had some good spots. Pat, when he jumped off the top of the cage, I was like, oh my god, you crazy son of a bitch! But he did it. But yeah, and he did sold his injury.
Oh, yeah.
Or in the neck brace on his show. I mean, I'm glad that he did that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
But,
look, folks. As a
it was
heel,
good.
As a heel, I love to hate him.
Oh yeah,
As a fan, he did right by the business.
he definitely did.
He
Both my kids enjoyed it.
Mhm.
They love. I'm like, I look at me and Evan. I'm like, Evan, watch that. They do it. He goes like, I want a replay. I want a replay. And boom, we got a replay.
Yeah. No, Pat, thank you for that. You were great the whole time. You were a great talker, great in ring for what you were. I loved it. I loved the whole thing. But no, once again, I thought they tried to do. I thought they tried to do too much.
Yeah.
That's all. Here's the deal, folks. You can turn a lot of things in wrestling to a lot of things, but there are times when a wrestling match has to settle a feud, a la Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
A wrestling match. But then there are times when a feud must end in a fight, in a brawl, in a struggle. That's War Games. I feel like they tried to make War Games into too much of a match instead of what War Games is supposed to be. The blood feud ender. Not the orange juice.
Great. No.
Can we just refer to it now as the blood orange feud? Can we just call it that now, please?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, cool. Anyway, so War Games came and went. It's interesting that you know what? I think I want to do this here. We're gonna move forward here. So we talked about this a little earlier, and we'll get to it now here. We talked about Warrior. We talked about Sting. We talked about China with Jade Cargill. So McAfee comes in, and sadly McAfee was a great worker. Sadly, he wasn't a wrestler, but he was a good worker. Now we go to three people whose legacies cannot be understated, but if we can be honest as wrestling fans who are talking about work as opposed to legacy, ladies and gentlemen, and sorry if this stops Brock from ever being on our show, Sable, China, and Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior. Leroy, random question. As much as you loved their auras, as much as you loved this and that, and you obviously loved looking at Sable, we all know that.
Yeah, on TV and yeah.
Anyway,
in that magazine.
Yes. Anyway, but Leroy, now let's talk about this. Are we ever going to accuse any of these three people of being good in-ring talents?
No, I don't think so. I
No,
mean,
and this was actually brought up by the comments made by, I guess, China's manager right before she passed, that Vince was gonna give her the belt over her doing Playboy. You do realize that WWE and Playboy had a deal for a while, folks.
yeah.
That
Let's see how many people were.
Sable did it.
Sable,
Tori
China,
did it.
Tori.
China. China did it. Christy Hemme.
Yep. Then
I think that's all I can think of.
no, Maria Makunis did it.
Maria Kanellis. Sorry.
Kanellis.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Maria did it.
Yeah,
And I
Maria did it.
think- Didn't Ashley?
Ashley Massaro, yeah,
that
she did
who's
too.
no longer with
So,
us. She
yeah.
did. Yeah.
So
we had a good
anyway,
handful.
here, folks, look. First of all, I don't think that Vince, even for the rating, would have put the belt on China. I don't think it was ever going to happen, especially not in '99 when this was supposedly meant to happen. Especially not when you've got Foley, Rock, Steve Austin, and Triple H fighting for the championship. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, given the Intercontinental match
That was
she
fine.
won.
I was
And
okay with that.
And I think that would have been fine with her.
but
so.
folks, here's the deal. There's a more recent event that happened, and this woman is obviously no longer in wrestling, thank God, because she's nothing more than a complete and utter bitch for what she did. Sexy Star won the Lucha Underground Championship, and I'm going to be 100% honest. With Matt Stryker behind her commentating, it was one of the best moments of the year. But I'll be perfectly honest, even though I popped for it, and I said this is great for all those young girls out there and all that other stuff, guys, gals, folks, let's all talk honest for a second. It went nowhere after it was done. The ratings died after Sexy Star won the championship because it's just not believable. All these wrestling fans are like, we can separate fact from fiction. Yeah, you really can't.
No, you can't.
Because here's the deal, and I've come to this conclusion. People knock Jim Cornette a lot of the times because he just rips apart all these things and says, you don't understand modern wrestling. Guys, wrestling has been getting over before any of you modern idiots got into it. And it was always done the same way. Not with the same people.
Just the same way. Yeah.
The faces, the names, and the trends, to steal from one of my favorite bands, Bowling for Soup. High school never ends, but the faces, the names, and the trends, those do. Folks, the faces, the names, and the trends of wrestling have changed since the days of the Carolinas, the days of Memphis, Mid-South, the Texas territory. Guys, it's the same basic idea. You gotta fight from underneath. You want to see this work. Heels have always made better champions. Ric Flair was always the heel you wanted to see get beat, and the only way that was ever going to work is if he was always the champ.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, look, I don't know if a female's ever going to get the world title. Never say never. I mean, this is wrestling.
Yeah. Well, they said they did an Impact.
But
they worked there.
Yeah. I mean, did it really though?
Yeah, well, a little bit.
Sort of, kind of.
But that's Impact. They're kind of
Yeah.
the little people.
Yeah, but
not WWE.
No,
I don't know.
No, the guys, look. It's the same belt from Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Triple H, Stone Cold, The Rock, Hulk Hogan. Need I go on? Ric Flair held the WWF Championship
Yes.
after winning it in the Rumble. Did he win it in the Rumble?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a Rumble.
Was it 91 or 92?
Somewhere around in there.
Okay,
But it was because of the Rumble
But
match.
anyway, guys, gals. Vince was never going to put the belt on her. And by the way, this is an older topic that I've heard before and it was interesting to think about. Why was Scott Hall, with all his talent, never the champion? Yeah, he had his backstage issues, but so did Shawn. But here's the deal. You look at Razor Ramon, Scott Hall's career. The moments he was the top guy. Razor Ramon was never going to be over Shawn Michaels.
No.
He was never going to be over Diesel. And then when he went to WCW, he was already somewhat broken down, but Scott Hall was never going to be over Hogan. He was never going to be over Nash. He was never going to be over Goldberg, never going to be over Sting. So there are talents in this business that are names known throughout history, but your time and place in wrestling makes sense. I hate to say this because I think he actually did work hard at it and he was a good heel champion. Jinder Mahal was made the champion because they were about to break into the Indian market. We all know that.
Yeah.
That's not us being prejudiced or racist. I mean, we all get it. And by the way, again, I think Jinder did a good job.
Yeah.
I
was.
don't think Jinder versus Brock had the star power of Brock versus AJ. But Jinder, up until that match happened, because first of all, Nick's probably the greatest transitional world champion of all time.
Oh yes.
Edge has had some transition. First couple of belts were transitional before they went back to John Cena. Here's my thing. Some people win the world title and they hold it for a long time. Brock, for instance. But realistically, you're believing Brock's going to win. You are. Sorry, end of story. Just the way it goes.
Oh yeah.
Because, he's Brock freaking Lesnar. Now, as it pertains to Jinder Mahal, I think Jinder was a good heel up until it was time for Brock to come back for Survivor Series. Yeah, it was a short reign, but Jinder's time was up. So here's my question, Leroy. Do you think, under any circumstances, in 1998, 1999, 2000 wrestling, when you had Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold, and obviously Mick was like the fourth guy in there, when they were at the height of their peak, especially Rock and Steve, where would China have won the belt even over Shawn?
There was nowhere. No, that wouldn't happen.
Rest in peace, China, and obviously Warrior as well. But look, we've talked about China. Well, now let's talk about Sable. Sable really didn't want to get into wrestling. She wanted to be on TV, and she was great for TV. She was a great character. But
she looked damn good.
And, she was the women's champion, but do you have a wrestling moment that you can remember from Sable? I'm not going to ask you to list the 6 to dozen other things you have of Sable, but are any of them wrestling related?
No, not really.
Sable worked with Tori. Sable worked with DX. Sable made men want to watch the show. Folks, this is wrestling. Sable was never going to work as a champion long term. It was never going to happen. Sable's mark on the business will forever be known. Love them all to death. As a red-blooded American male, love them all to death. And by the way, for anyone out there that says that it's chauvinistic, guys, you want to go back and watch her highlights and tell me they weren't there for a reason? They weren't there for female empowerment, I can tell you that much. Well, no. Let me clarify. They were because I've always said, who's really in control when you're a stripper? She's the one making 16 grand in one night. She's the one making 500 an hour.
And she's taking all your ones.
And she's taking every dime that you brought in there. So who's really taking advantage of who? These are the honest facts here. All right, I'm not going to name anyone's name, but I've known some young ladies who have dabbled in the world of exotic dancing, and guess what? They made a lot of money doing it.
Yep.
So
I spent a few there myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's partially why I can't go to the Saratoga here in town because I know too many employees. Anyway.
What? I have to go see my nice friend, young lady that works down there if she's still working there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But anyway,
hey,
so now
that Ric Flair was a 92 Royal Rumble.
92?
The title was vacated and he won the Rumble.
Okay.
Got that.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So now Sable pretty easy because obviously China had some in-ring stuff. She looked the part. Now we move on to, and I hate to do this because he's so many people's favorite, Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior. He had a 6-7 year run. Sting had a 30-year run because Sting obviously was willing to learn how to be the better worker. We talked about this earlier. Warrior was very full of himself. This is all truth stuff from backstage. Look, guys, he's a hero of mine. May he rest in peace. I still, to this day, and Leroy might find this kind of weird because of the conversations that we've had together. Leroy, the way he passed, makes me still believe in somebody up there. And here's why. He passed away shortly after everything had come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
The Warriors' ending was the same way that his career was. Fast, furious, in and out, done. He fulfilled what was left. They got him into the hall. He was healthy enough to give a good speech. That speech on Raw, just, oh God, chills. So many chills.
Well, yeah, especially after he did it, and then
the very next day,
yeah, he passed, and it's like
you go back and you listen to it, and you're like, dude, did God himself write that and give it to Warrior? Like, I mean, that's what you thought.
It's like he knew for some reason.
Yeah.
He knew something that we didn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, and it's also weird because remember Eddie's last match was a DQ win over Kennedy, but Eddie went out lying, cheating, and stealing.
The way he always is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, folks. I am not besmirching the name of the Ultimate Warrior on camera. But if we look at it from a technical standpoint, he wasn't very good, folks.
No.
That splash, I've seen new NXT talent have a better splash. His ability to pump up, maybe second only to Hogan, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, he was also he was a here. Okay, Sting and Triple H. Triple H, I think, is Sting +1 in the sense that bodybuilders who got into wrestling, who got the psychology of it, who got the know-how of it, who became great men in the ring.
Yes.
But Warrior was never that guy.
No.
Warrior believed his own hype, as did the other two people on this list. Again, Triple H, Hogan, Rock, Austin, names that are bigger than the WWE brand. Now, you can sit here and you can tell me, oh, the WWE will never let anyone get that big again. I don't necessarily care if that's true or not. But here's the deal. When you think of Peyton Manning, what do you think of? The Indianapolis Colts, Denver Broncos. You think of the NFL. No one is bigger than the Shield. The NFL says that all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how big. Josh Gordon is one of the most talented wide receivers to ever play the game, but because of his off-the-field issues, they said, we ain't going to let you besmirch the Shield. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Now, here's my thing. Who is another guy we've talked about on this show numerous times who believed his own hype and thought he was better than he was? Vince Russo. Every single person. And by the way, Vince Russo is way worse than these three will ever be to the business. I am not besmirching their names by putting the same category as Russo in terms of work. But here's the deal, folks. They're all on the same list of people who believe their own hype. They were built up by a billionaire's production company, by great writers, great agents, great producers. They were made bigger than they ultimately were. John Cena, Rock, you can see them going to Hollywood. You could see it right away.
Oh, yeah.
They had everything you needed. But Rock could have sold ice to an Eskimo. That's who he was.
Oh, yeah.
China, Sable, and Warrior together couldn't have sold chicken feed to a chicken.
Yeah.
Okay? The thing about it is that, folks, there are people in this business who can get themselves over. Sting, with a lot of help.
Yep.
There are people who can get themselves over just by being given a microphone. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And then there are people who have something, a la Dingo Warrior.
Yep.
And then they get a few tweaks. They get a few lighting changes. The makeup gets a little different. And all of a sudden, you are shot so far into the stratosphere and then they think to themselves, well, I did that. No, you didn't. Tom Brady is a great quarterback. Bill Belichick has as much 50-50 to do with Tom Brady as Tom Brady does to Bill Belichick. I don't care what anybody says. That's a 50-50 partnership. It has to be.
Oh, it is. And with him putting the talent around him
Exactly.
always helps.
Exactly. Coaching matters. And by the way, Vince is no different than a GM coach saying, okay, if Warrior's my Tom Brady, you still need guys for Warrior to work with. Yeah, it's not wide receiver, running back, O-line defense, but it's Hogan, Rock. It's giving him someone that makes him look good. And I think, sadly, I hate to say it, folks, after WWE was done with him, didn't Warrior kind of prove everyone right that he couldn't do it himself? He went to WCW, and remember during the negative documentary about Warrior that they did, they even said what flabbergasted them is when he got to WCW, he talked about how he'd already beaten Hogan. Everybody knew it. You didn't have to say it, but now why is anybody going to buy a ticket? They already saw the match.
Yeah.
And by the way, WCW, don't care. They were never going to get bigger than WrestleMania.
No, that never would have.
You will never get a bigger one night in wrestling. Not even Wrestle Kingdom comes close. Not yet, but the mystique is not there with Wrestle Kingdom.
No, it's not yet.
It's never going to be WrestleMania. It's never going to be this one night. And yes, I agree that maybe it's gotten so big that everybody's got a match and there's not really a chance at a 3-4 hour show where there's moments anymore. I get that. It's still WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean it's
it's the beginning and the ending to a year that never ends.
And everybody talks about it.
Exactly.
I mean ESPN. I mean mainstream media talks about this one show. They don't really talk about any other.
No.
But they always talk about WrestleMania.
I mean, again, Leroy, you love all three. That's fine.
I did. I loved them all when they were there.
But are we ever going to accuse them of being a Ric Flair style worker? A seller like that? Are we ever going to say that they're a Bob Backlund or Bruno Sammartino? No. These are three people whose legacies are set, but they're never going to be Sting. Warrior is never going to be Sting.
No.
Sable and Chyna are never going to be Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Ric Flair, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock walked away from WWE, and all of a sudden they made a whole documentary about how they had to reinvent themselves. Chyna, Sable walked away. WWE was like, all right, we'll just keep going with these guys. Like,
aren't they in the Hall of Fame? I know Sable's not, is he or is she?
I don't think, not yet. Yeah. Chyna, remember they backed her in.
Kind of backed her in because of her
extracurricular activities,
her adult performance.
Which I don't blame them. I'm sorry, but that's just the world we live in.
Oh yeah.
If we lived in a world where Karen could keep her goddamn mouth off of Twitter.
That ain't gonna happen.
Who the hell would care if Chyna was in a porn? Nobody.
No
one's gonna care. They're gonna remember Chyna the wrestler. The problem is that Karen is gonna call the FCC. My son searched Chyna with a Y instead of an I, and he got a porn film. Bitch, sit down, shut up, clean your house, and don't frickin' talk to me.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, folks, if that seems chauvinistic, but here's the deal: keep your goddamn opinion to yourself, and let the people who watch wrestling watch wrestling. That's all I'm saying.
There we go.
But no, it's just, folks, I love all three of these people, but they ain't the workers that Dusty Rhodes were. They ain't the workers of Ric Flair. They ain't the workers of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They will never be those workers. It's never going to happen. They're not the in-ring talent that I think their mystique wants them to be.
They were used correctly. And at the time,
and by the way, folks, they were used correctly as much to Vince McMahon as opposed to themselves.
Yeah.
Brady and Belichick to me are 50-50, but these three people combined are 25%, and Vince is the other 75.
Oh yeah.
Combined, they don't get to 25.
Definitely.
So, I mean, in my opinion, if all three of these people had listened maybe a little more, like Sting, they would have had 30-year careers.
Good possibility, yeah.
They didn't. They don't. And they never will. They will have 30-year careers in our minds, but Sting had a 30-year on-TV career.
Yeah.
Sting is the right. These three are the left. If
Oh.
you become a student and you're willing to work, you can last a long time. And Sting just had an it factor that they had to bring the workmanship out of. These three had a workmanship, or these three had an it factor that there was no that there was no workmanship. Anyway, it's interesting that we go on to working. Recently, it's been announced that certain talents have been needing to be better, I guess, according to the main roster leader, Vince McMahon. And some have been sent back down to the Performance Center for some classes. Now, I want to be very clear. Having classes with Drew Gulak, not a bad time. Drew Gulak can go. He's very technically sound. And who was the other wrestler that was helping out there? I think it's another person already down there. But anyway, obviously they're going to be there with the staff. Terry Taylor, all those guys, Matt Bloom. I mean, they're just down there for more work. You have that list for us?
Yeah, give me a sec.
Okay. But yeah, so as of right now, I've heard. Well, first of all, everyone on this list except for one surprises me, and I hate to say it.
Which one?
He's our homeboy.
Yeah.
Otis, I get it. Maybe maybe needs a little more.
All right. Well, right here is
Okay.
Keith Lee.
Yep.
Otis.
Yep.
Dio Maiden.
Dio Madden. Dio. Watch Retribution. Dio needs it.
Dabo and Omos. It's the big dude.
Dabakato.
Yeah.
And then Omos just got rebranded, I think.
Yeah. And Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak are doing that.
Okay, here's the deal. Modern day people, Adam Pearce, the authority figure. Adam Pearce is a multi-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Adam Pearce knows what the hell he's doing in the ring. So I don't want to hear anybody talk about the credentials of Adam Pearce and besmirch that.
And I've read a few things on that, and what is said. I've seen the initial one, then I saw another one.
Yeah.
And it basically said is they need to learn more stuff, more in-ring stuff, because possibly they're going to get a big push.
Right.
And I can understand with Otis that they have to teach him a few things to be on camera to do what that is.
Otis needs to not be a 1A, 1B in a tag team. If he's going to go single, he needs to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
No offense to our, homeboy, and no offense to Jimmy that was on the show, but I think Jimmy would be the first one to say, tag team, singles, it's two different worlds.
It is.
Well, that's why the Dudleys are an all-world tag team, and single, it wasn't much. Really wasn't.
And it's, if Vince look at it and say, you know what, you big guys, you need help in the ring and the stuff they do. You know what? Do that. I mean, make him better. I mean, I enjoy Keith Lee, but if he needs a little help,
by the way, Keith Lee is up there in age. We talk about it. He's like 37, 38 years old. Vince kind of wants to make as much money as possible. If that means that Keith has to stop flipping and he has to turn into a big man, then that's just preserving his career.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're probably doing with him, and I don't think that's a bad idea.
No.
I mean, every once in a while throw that in, but no, I mean, sit back and I just recently watched Stone Cold talk to the Big Show, and stuff that he did when he was younger. He goes, yeah, I shouldn't have done it, but he's teaching like Braun Strowman and everything.
Yeah.
You're a big guy, you got to do stuff this way to legitimize your character and your career to make it longer.
Just look at Taker.
Yeah,
Taker, as we've discussed 1,000 times since his retirement, you watched him the first time.
Oh yeah.
And you thought, big guy, can beat people up. He's slow paced. He's methodical. And then he bounced off the ropes and did the flying clothesline, and your mouth hit the floor like, wait a second, what? He can do that?
Yeah.
That's a thing? The flying DDT? That's a thing? Like, he can walk the ropes and balance like he's a cruiserweight? That's a thing? Like, I mean, how is that not something you want to emulate? 30 years at the top because you learned how to do your craft. I don't look, folks. You can sit here and say, "Oh, why does Otis and why does Keith Lee have to lose 30 pounds so they won't get by the Royal Rumble?" I don't give a damn. As far as I'm concerned, Vince wants to make money off both of them. They have to learn how to work certain ways because again, folks, look, if Keith Lee looked like Keith Lee right now and was 22 years old, you think he'd be doing? You think Vince would care that much? No.
No.
Vince has probably a maybe 10-year window with Keith Lee, maybe.
He has tried. I mean, I watched.
And there have been so many flameouts too. There have been so many people that came in and they did the things like Keith Lee, like, oh, I'm gonna be me and do different stuff. Big guys have lasted long in this business, and they've all done the same thing. Nash, Show, Kane. I could go on.
Yeah.
Big Taker. Big guys are big guys.
Yeah. Well, I'd seen they had a little 24 or whatever with Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And I saw it. He tried, I think, 3 or 4 times and tried out.
Yeah.
And he got sent away.
Yeah.
But Regal was like, don't worry, we're going to watch you.
Mhm.
And they eventually, when he came in, they called him in.
Yeah.
So it did work for him eventually.
The thing about it is, folks, you can sit here and you can hate old man Vince all you want. All of these people, they need. Well, first of all, was anyone surprised by the rest of those names? Seriously? Like, I mean, we're sitting here and I've got Keith Lee, I've got Otis. They've established careers in NXT. They've established stuff on the main roster. Fine. Anybody else on that list surprise you? Anybody on that list surprise you? Not a damn person surprised me.
And if it is true what they say that Vince wants to push them to make them a better big guys, then that's what they need to do.
Look,
and that is better for us.
Yeah, well, look, this isn't Vince saying, oh, you got to have the six-pack, brother. Like, no, guys. What it's saying is that you can't, if you want to maximize your money, you got to look like Brock. Sorry, you do. That's the peak of big, strong man. That is. You want to tell me I'm wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. But name another person that maximized their earning potential more than Brock Lesnar.
No, nobody has.
$9 million over a 3-year deal. He even said, I'm getting paid full-time to work part-time.
Lucky guy. I wish I could do the same.
He basically picked and chose which Raw he wanted to go to. He flew in his own private jet. He got there when he wanted, how he wanted. And
he actually had shorts with
Jimmy John
businesses, Jimmy John shorts, and got money from them.
Yeah.
And pretty damn good.
So look, folks, this is not old man Vince saying, you got to look like Triple H. No, it's not. Because he never told Big Show to do that. He didn't tell Kamala to do it.
No.
You're telling me Vince went to Kamala and said, yeah, we need a 6-pack for you to really look like the crazy jungle giant. No, dude, like Kamala was Kamala. It worked.
Oh, yeah.
So what people have to understand is, look, lose some weight. Maybe Otis can move a little more. That's great.
Yeah. And health-wise, I mean,
it's never bad.
His life a little bit longer.
Lose a little weight, and maybe Keith Lee can, look a little better, fine, whatever. But and the thing about it is that Keith Lee even recently said, it's the same trunks. He just doesn't have the straps pulled down like he did in NXT.
Yeah.
And by the way, folks, Kurt Angle wrestled with the singlet for a long time. And yes, Kurt Angle was smaller. And yes, Kurt Angle maybe looked a little more physically more imposing. But it's just, really, we're going to argue about ring gear and the music? No. But
Mr. Perfect wore that for years. And he was
Mr. Perfect. Need I say more?
Yeah, that's it.
He was Mr. Perfect.
We love our Minnesota boys.
Yes, we do. Anyway, but no. Okay, so Road Warriors looked like badasses.
Oh God, yes.
They were what they were. The Briscoes looked like what they were. Technically sound, great wrestlers, fantastic. The current Briscoe brothers, they look like backwoods country bumpkin. We're gonna kick your ass kind of down home boys.
Yeah, and kick your teeth in so you eat them.
Yeah, Heavy Machinery looked like Heavy Machinery. There you go.
Blue collar guys.
Yeah, exactly. But if Otis is going to transition into being more of a star, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are on the internet. At me, I don't care. Look has a lot to do with it. Rock
totally does.
Rock could raise the eyebrow. don't tell me that people don't pop for that still.
Oh.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan looked like a giant. 24-inch pythons. That worked. Surfer Sting was a bodybuilder who had a little more athleticism than even Warrior did. That's kind of why he was so unique. But it's also why he was a long-term career guy. And then, of course, Big Show. 7 feet, 300 pounds, bigger than everybody else by a damn country bumpkin mile.
And as they portrayed him and they put him out saying that he was Andre's son, which is not true.
No.
And he said even when I watched the Stone Cold podcast,
but
it's great.
But also remember in that same interview, he said Vince expected more. Yeah. Can you imagine that kind of expectation? Yeah. More than the 8th wonder of the world?
That's a lot. But even people to this day even tell him, I loved watching you wrestle and I love watching your dad wrestle.
Yeah.
Kayfabe, it's still going with some people with him. It's crazy.
But no, it's just, folks, Paul White, the Big Show, has had a long career because he had to adjust. Because, and again, Andre was Andre. But Andre was also unable to move in the way that Show did.
Well, Andre had that medical issue that impaired him.
Well, so did Show. Giantism a little bit, but
a little bit, yeah. Mostly his is with the weight that's really affecting him.
Yeah, so, exactly. But it's just one of those things where it's like, guys, Andre's career was what it was. Could have been more, but that's not who Andre was. Andre, also because of the language barrier, was never going to be a talker like Show. He was never going to be a personality like Show. Andre didn't need to be a personality. He had it, but he had it in the soft, gentle, giant way, which ain't going to sell tickets. Sorry, folks. Y'all sit here and say we're wrong because we're saying something you don't like. You weren't going to buy a ticket to see the funny little... If Andre had played... First of all, Andre's character in The Princess Bride, perfect.
Yes.
But if that was his wrestling persona, you wouldn't have watched him the way you did.
Mean, when he was booked, Andre the Giant, the 7th wonder,
the 8th wonder of the world.
8th wonder of the world. I mean, that alone got people in there to sell tickets because they're like, oh, we want to see this huge guy.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. So look, they're going back, and I don't care. It is what it is, and everybody needs to kind of just accept that. And you know what? We're going to see where it goes. We're going to see what happens. I don't think that Keith Lee is not going to be featured. I think Keith Lee is going to be just fine. He's got a great persona. No one's going to say no to Keith Lee at this point. And Otis has proven that there's some kind of it factor there that they can get out of it. But and by the way, folks, you can never not learn enough from Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak's a great technical guy. And remember, Adam Pearce, multiple time NWA world champion. Adam Pearce, in my opinion, is just showing how great of a talent he was with this new authority role. But he was a great wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
He had a career. He had a very successful one. Moving on here, Leroy, you have a few things for us. Ladies and gentlemen, first thing he's got for us today is, Leroy, we're going to back to one of our favorite segments, one of mine, this day in wrestling history. Today's date is December 13th, 2020. Sometimes we want to forget what year it is, but we'll call it 2020. What do you got for us?
I just got a couple tidbits.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Which, let's see here. They did 7 of the... 11 years ago.
Okay.
I get it right. Yeah, you do the math on here.
All right. Cool.
TLC first showed up.
Okay.
That was the first one, and I mean they had some pretty decent matches. They had Christian beat Sheldon Benderman to retain ECW.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre defeated John Morrison to win the Intercontinental Championship. Michelle McCool against Mickey James to get the women's.
Yep.
Sheamus defeated John Cena in a tables match to win the WWE Championship.
So that was shortly after Jesse Ventura was brought in as the guest host of Raw.
So.
Yeah.
And then Randy Orton defeated Kofi.
Right.
back then, and then it was the rebirth of Degeneration X
Ah, yes.
defeated the Jericho, Chris Jericho and Big Show in a table, ladders, and chairs
Oh
match
man.
to win the WWE
Jericho, God
Tag
was that
titles.
good.
Yeah.
God was that good.
And then the only other thing I got that I thought that was good was another legend that we no longer with us.
Okay.
His birthday,
Okay.
Junkyard Dog.
Ah, the Junkyard Dog.
Yeah, so he would have been
What a-
68.
68. Okay.
Today, I believe. So I have to double check that.
What
but I
a
think around
talent for the territory days.
there. Oh yeah.
What a persona for Vince's days. Just, I mean, if you don't know Junkyard Dog, I don't know why the hell you're on the show. I don't know why you're at the
Gotta
show.
love him in JYD. And
Love
I think
it.
the funny part is they put in there too. His birthday wasn't today, but it was yesterday. Bob Barker.
Okay.
He's like 98.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
he's still alive.
Yeah.
He's about as good as Betty White.
Yeah.
They keep going.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But
Let's go, folks.
he was a big part of a few things with wrestling. He hosted the Price is Right on Raw,
He did.
which I thought was funny.
He did.
And
Yes.
he schooled Jericho.
He did. He
which
did.
was great.
That's very good.
It was so funny.
All right, and now we're gonna move on to Okay, this is something that I haven't 100% read into, but I heard a couple of things. The International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. What do you got for me?
Yeah, this is a first time they're doing it, and
Where's this based out of? Is there a specific?
No, I didn't find anything
Place.
based to where they're at, but